Positive Parenting Early Childhood Track 6, Consequences. Now let's consider giving consequences, known by some as punishment. When giving consequences, it's important to be fair, firm, and consistent. Try to give the consequence in a friendly manner. You are not punishing the child, but enforcing consequences for an undesired behavior or action. Ideally, we want to reinforce desired behaviors in order to prevent undesired ones. We want to support the child being good much more than we want to punish an undesired behavior. If you see your child playing nicely with a younger sibling and you praise them for doing so, you are reinforcing a desired behavior. Contrast this with waiting for them to hit the younger sibling and then giving a consequence, such as a timeout. We want to communicate clear rules and expectations so children know what to expect in advance. In all cases, you want to name the behavior to help make things clear, both in the moment and later when you're talking about what happened. It's also helpful for parents to have a menu of consequences ready in advance so that you're not scrambling at the last moment to come up with something and then possibly overreacting. Also, remember to keep your expectations and consequences age appropriate. We've included some helpful information in our list of resources. Pause here for a moment and note down some negative behaviors and consequences you want to use in your family. For example, if your child continually removes their sun hat at the playground, after the third time, it is time to go home. Similarly, if your child melts down at the grocery store, you may have to give up on shopping and just go home. If you're stuck coming up with ideas here, look at our list in the materials that accompany this Cope Talk. Remember to pick your spot and don't be too ambitious. It is also important to take your parenting style and your child's temperament into account and to use consequences that are the right fit for your family. Pairing a negative consequence with reinforcement of a desired behavior will have an even greater effect. When giving consequences, it's important to imply the punishment immediately or to allow the natural consequences to do the teaching. Preschoolers often want to go outside without putting on a coat. Let them. They will get cold, a natural consequence. When your child complains about being cold, you can say, "Yes, we're not inside where it is warm. If you're cold now, you could put your coat on." You have reinforced the desired behavior by allowing them to experience the negative consequence. It is also important that when giving consequences, the discipline should fit the crime. If your child deliberately spills her juice, have her help clean it up. Don't scold her and then clean it up yourself. Again, we want to be careful to not overreact or underreact, and this is where natural consequences can be very helpful. We always want to consider developmental level when giving consequences. Consequences should also be appropriate to the situation. They should be teaching a lesson or applying something that allows the child to learn from the situation. We don't want to give something that is beyond or below the child's developmental stage. With young children, they are not able to understand another child's point of view, nor are they able to understand long-term consequences. They are creatures of their own experience in the present moment. When a child hits a playmate, it may be his only way of expressing frustration. It may not be intended to injure. In early childhood, children are often very impulsive and do not yet have the ability to regulate their own behavior. However, the behavior still needs to have consequences because throwing a toy can hurt someone. A logical consequence would be to say, "See how hitting Sam has hurt him." And you can say, "You look mad because Sam has the truck. Here's the blue truck for you to play with." If the behavior continues, you may have to end the play date and go home saying, "We can't play if you keep throwing toys at Sam." If you must give a timeout, the general rule is 1 minute per age of year.